All right. Peace, peace, everyone. Peace to everyone that is watching. Peace to everyone that's joining the chat. Peace to you all. If you guys can hear me, press one if you guys can hear me. All right, cool, cool. All right, okay. All right, so we're going to get started. Now, I remember told you guys that I was going to do a live that I of a recording that I have of a Trinidadian man, and he's speaking of events that's happening on the island, so far as kidnapping, organ harvesting, you know, and something that almost happened to him and his brother. So we're gonna play that audio in a few, but first I'd like to give thanks to to the creator. I'd like to give thanks to everyone for being here. I'd like to give thanks to the ancestors for just being here and just say peace, love, light to you all. You know, much respect to you all. With that being said, this is Darkman X TV. I am Darkman X and a Huak Indian from the American island of Zamaka. I am what you call an Arawak, an American Indian. All right. It was so funny because before I even shared this, there was people's already in here. I don't know how that's possible. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to play this recording. All right, and yeah. Fellas and ladies, I just have one thing to say to this group, man. What just happened with me? I mean, it's a long weekend. We have a lot. We have a lot of Spanish flood in this. All this watching it on the news and hearing about it on social media, and I'm just saying wherever, yeah, that is affecting me personally. You understand? But big man thing. All right, so for those who the accent is a bit strong, but just if all you gotta do is just play back the live and play it a couple times and you'll get 100% of what this person is saying. All right. So let me start it back from the beginning. So he's saying that there's a flood of Spanish migrants in Trinidad and Tobago right now. Right. You pay attention because this is linked back to majority of the organ harvesting industry is going into majority of what is now Spanish ran countries, right? So here we go. I'm going to play it back. Fellas and ladies, I just have one thing to say to this group, what just happened with me. I mean, it's a long weekend. We have a lot. We have a lot of Spanish flood in this. Always watching it on the news and hearing about it on social media, and I'm just saying wherever, yeah, that is affecting me personally. You understand? But big man thing, I experienced that shit first time tonight. I was by the barrage just now. Me, my brother, two of my cousins, and my partner. And while we was by the barrage, we got out of the barrage. 5 Spanish fellas come. And they laughing, but they didn't know I could talk Spanish too. I could understand them. And I was bullying them looking like some rich ass. They kidnapped one of them. So we had to take it time, pretending like it's not what they're talking about. So we leave. And we have two people with the two sons. I did with two sons. And of course, they were the Tiana. So I pull up home my knee here.
my cousin pulling in the driveway too. And by the time I park up to something in the back, I walk in front and light a cigarette and talk to my brother and my cousin. I see one of the Spanish fella. I was like, what are you jealous man doing here? Spanish fella was in the road in front of my house. My brother have a barber shop and all in front of the house, right? The Spanish fella reaching from the barber shop entrance. But something in the waist stick, the bulging nowadays. And watching them and stand up 4 feet from my wall and watching them. So I like my cigarette and I'm watching. I was like, me amigo, stop here. And he say nothing. And he pull out the phone and he started text. I was like, no, these are we who are kidnapping her. He's like, no boy. I was like, watch and see. And one of my cousins, there's a Coast Guard and he had something on him now. I was like, don't care about it. Take out that thing and have it on your phone. It's like, what? I was like, take it out of the freaking car and have it on your phone in your hand. By then you walk in the car and come back outside with it. It's because 3 more Spanish fellas walk in front of my house and that Jeep pull up. But 2 of them jump out. One about the gate in his hand. But my cousin, the gangs not ready. And it had a standoff, basically. And we don't know the first time we seen them. By experience, that shit first time when I was kidnapped, they tried to kidnap me and rob me, but they didn't expect me to have one. But not me, my cousin. They didn't expect it. They be greeted with firepower. If we didn't have a gun on here, tell me, I'd be on the news tomorrow. Because it just was like, alright, wrong place. In Spanish, and they jump back in the van. And they go on. I'm telling you, it's real. This shit going real.
All right. So, with that being said, so he was speaking on his experience of what almost happened to him and his brother being kidnapped by Spanish migrants or Spanish immigrants that's going to the island of Trinidad and to the Isle of Tobago, right? Which we will call the Twin Islands. This is going on all throughout the Americas. And it's not just in the Americas that it's going on in, also as well, right? So I'm going to play a video, and let me just say fair use on this video, and we're going to get to it. Give me 1 second. And let me just say fair. Okay. This video. I think is this one. Let's see if this is it. Honor, Aboriginal Q, honor, brother, honor. Okay, so this is one. We're gonna play this one first. All right, turn the sound up. Back it up a little bit for y'all and play.
Cairo, one of the Middle East. Cairo,
Fair use.
one of the Middle East's main business hubs, but now a darker trade is thriving. The network is wide, from migrant smugglers to some of Egypt's leading doctors. A crumbling health system and shortage of organs has meant that people wait for years, so turn to the black market, where profits are huge.
If you've got money, anything is possible.
This man matches up those wanting to buy with those desperate enough to want to sell their organs. Conflict in the Middle East has made his job easier. What he is doing is illegal, but he now claims to feel remorse, so explains the trade to us.
People came to me wanting to sell their organ to pay to be smuggled abroad. Money never lasts long, but the promise of a safe life and opportunities overseas are a pretty good incentive.
Organ donation is complicated here. No money can change hands, and you can only donate to someone from the same nationality. But there are always ways to get around the law.
If someone's got dark skin, for example, they could pass as Sudanese. The brokers just make him a fake passport. You can buy the passports from the streets. It's really not a big deal.
Authorities claim they're trying to crack down on this trade. Last year, they conducted a raid of multiple clinics, resulting in the arrest of 45 people, among them doctors and nurses. Millions of pounds were recovered, yet for many, the profits outweigh the risks. We're on our way to meet a doctor who we've been told works as a surgeon within the organ trade. We're going in undercover, and our story is that my father's in desperate need of a kidney transplant, but can't find a donor. Medical costs for a legal transplant are around $3,000, but we've been told to say we'll pay whatever's necessary. This is illegal. Dr. Ahmed Mustafa works for the police. He reassures us that he can help.
اوكي ماشي والله لو الاوبشن موجود هتلاقينا اوتوماتيك على الرقم ده بنكلم عشان بجهز نفسي بص انا هجيب كاش تبقى تقريبا 40 كل شيء شامل ايه بالظبط؟ شامل كل شيء هو مش انت بقى تاخد فلوس في ايده يبقى تتسافر معاه يعني هو هينزل يعمل عمليته تمام وبعد كده تمام انت هتبقى عارف التبرع بتاعه اوكي يعني انا جيت معي 40,000 اعطيك اياهم تدوم لنا ولا لمين لك انا هاخد 20
People come from across the Middle East to buy kidneys. This man was on the government waiting list for months, until his health deteriorated to the point that the family decided to buy a kidney.
بس انا لما رجعت في الحاله دوت لما رجعت قدامي واحد عمل عمليه ده هو الحل الوحيد قدامي عشان ان انا ارجع تاني للحاله الطبيعيه اللي انا كنت فيها عمليه هي قانونيه بس في الوقت دوت
I ask him, what if something happens to the donor? Will I not be held responsible?
وزاره الصحه ما تقدرش الورق بتاعها الا لما تكون محطوط في المستشفى ده برضه
الظاهر انه مش واخد فلوس لكن طبيعي ان انت بتجيب
على
During our investigation, we learned of a man who died after selling his kidney. The risks are huge, but so is the desperation for a better life. And with no control in place, there'll be no stopping the organ trade. Nawal al-Makhafi, BBC News, Cairo.
All right, so now let's pull that apart, right? And we're gonna play it back again, and this time let's see, let's refresh it. I'm gonna play back again. Now we're going to give the word by word.
For years, Jen was afraid of overpaying.
What if there's a better price?
All right, so here we go.
Is thriving. The network is wide.
Back it up.
One of the Middle East's main business hubs, but now a darker trade is thriving. The network is wide, from migrant smugglers to some of Egypt's leading doctors. A crumbling health system and shortage of organs has meant that people wait for years, so turn to the black market, where profits are huge.
If you've got money, anything is possible.
This man matches up those wanting to buy with those desperate enough to want to sell their organs.
All right, so in the beginning, because I don't think I played it from the beginning, right? In the beginning, they stated because of conflict also that's going on in the Middle East, right? So Now we have to look at it like this. All those wars, all those genocide, all those massacres, all those human rights violation, everything that's happening over there, right? In the Middle East, especially in Palestine, in now Iraq, and now Syria, and now Libya, right? Is it Mosul? In these parts of the Middle East and many other different parts over there, you have nonstop conflict now that's happening, that's going on because these countries have been destabilized. All these bodies that are showing up without their organs. Now, the thing with BBC News and these other mainstream media is they always try to cover up the nitty-gritty of what we already know. That through all these murders that's happening, all these genocidal acts that's happening, the most lucrative and profitable industry business coming up out of this is the organ harvesting business. It's not just about people willing to sell their organs because they want to escape this land. Why do they want to escape that land? What's going on over there that a man or a woman is willing to sell their organ to leave? And you notice the organ seller, right, was letting you know that it's mostly dark. It's well, not most. It's dark skinned people that are the easiest for them to get passports for, because they're the ones really selling their organs to escape. Majority of them are the ones that's being murdered anyway. Okay. And if anyone knows anything about genetics and have studied or researched genetics, you'll understand why that the darker you are, the more you are likely to be targeted for your organ. We're just going to leave it there. That's for folks to go do their research to understand why. Right? Now that right here is going to bring me, let's close this out. We don't need to go no more into this. We'll close this out right there. It's going to bring me here, back here.
Just got done training.
And bring me back here into the Americas.
Detroit to Chicago as the feds launch a new taking action for.
Now, I've spoken on this already about Chicago, but I had to make the comparison because I'm tired of hearing folks talk about 500 people already got killed in Chicago, but yet still they can't tell you who killed those 500 people. And out of the 500, there's probably 2 cases that were solved, right? So who's doing these drive-bys and all these other folks, right? What was it, last month or month before last? Somebody's telling me, 30 people got murdered in Chicago in a mass shooting. 30 people in a mass shooting, right? But they haven't showed you not one body. They haven't shown you no blood stains in the streets, no bullet holes in the walls, no nothing. They haven't shown you any of these things, right? None of these things. Yeah, they speak on what they call black on black crime. But to how these murders are going on, there's something deeper to it than just that. Than just our people getting up saying, I'm going to do a drive-by today and kill 30 people on a block. No one gets up and say they're just going to go do that and just spray bullets, just to spray bullets in a crowd, even though they're going for one person to go kill 30 people. 30 people. They killed 30 people. That's what they're saying and haven't shown it, right? But all these deaths, all these murders that's going on in Chicago, and they haven't solved not even 3/4 of them. Only 2. If it's 3,000, 2 or 3 got solved out of 3,000. So why can't they solve all the others? What's going on there? right? Because it's a business. And I want you to pay attention how they use the mainstream media to cover up the fact that of why your children are going missing also, and you can't find them. Let's play this again. Fair use.
And first,
fair
use.
use.
Investigation of a
This
business
is
deal that deals in human body parts shifting from Detroit to Chicago.
WXYZ TV Detroit.
And once again, hundreds of families will be left wondering if the bodies of loved ones have been bought and sold on the black market.
7 Action News investigator Jim Kirchner is here tonight with a story you'll see only on 7. Jim.
Stephen and Carolyn, this case started here, according to sources, when a man named Arthur Rathburn was shipping human body parts through Metro Airport. Get this, the box leaked blood. Those cargo haulers then called for help. Why were you stockpiling hundreds of human body parts here, sir? That's Art Rathburn. And remember his business 13 months ago? For 2 days, federal investigators dressed in hazmat suits removed body parts of 1,000 different people. Arms, legs, heads cut up and kept on ice, not embalmed, so they would be fresh for the black market. Today, the rundown warehouse on Detroit's east side is shuttered and up for sale. Sources say Rathburn's seized records led them to the Chicago area today, a business called Biological Resource Center in Rosemont. It's difficult to see from the outside, but sources say the hazmat suits and raid are underway on the 6th floor of this office building. The same paper trail led investigators to Biological Resource Center in Phoenix last January, and another raid removing body parts and corpses. There were also ties to similar businesses in Las Vegas. Since these dealt directly with the public, families were left without answers. Julie donated her husband Steve's body and was promised his cremated remains back in a month.
Confused and angry. We thought this was going to be doing some good. Yet it doesn't sound like it is.
What do you say to all those families who had no idea their loved ones were in here? Michigan pulled Art Rath.
All right, so peep this, right? Let's go back to this dude. Where is he? There he go. Here he go. Arthur Rathburn. Now, if I was y'all, I would research the Rathburn name also as well. See what powerful people have that name and what is his relations to them.
All right. That's Art Rathburn. And remember his...
Mind you, this man has a warehouse with illegal organs and body parts. And he's walking free to his van and is about to drive off.
For 2 days,
he's not even in jail.
Dressed in hazmat suits.
They're not even holding him.
Parts of 1,000 different people. Arms, legs, heads cut up and kept on ice.
Body parts of 1,000 different people. Now, I don't know if it's I've never heard of 1,000 Caucasians dying in one city in a matter of a year. All right, or Asians, right, or Mexicans, right, in Chicago. When they talk about mass shootings and murders and so going on and happening, it's always the faces of Negroes they're showing. To the mothers and fathers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents, nieces, nephews, if your loved one has been a victim of any form of gun violence or any form of violence and their life was taken, I implore you to search the body, okay? To inspect their body when it comes back from the morgue, or even when it's in the morgue, to inspect the body that all of their organs are there. I implore you, inspect the body to see if all of the organs are there. Right? Because if the organs aren't there, and this man, Arthur Rathburn, has over 1,000 different body parts, right? In a warehouse, which you see clearly they're cleaning up all the evidence. They're getting rid of everything. They're going to get rid of all them body parts. They're getting rid of everything. Everything. And where he's at in Chicago is not too far away from where they're claiming all of the shootings and the killings are going on. Right? Telling y'all. Give me 1 sec, because on my end, my internet is acting up a bit. 1 second. Let's see if we could let me see if I can fix this here on my end. It's telling me that there's an error with my internet. All right, if you guys could hear me, press 1. If you guys can hear me, if you guys can see the screen share, press 1. If you guys can see the screen share. Let me refresh and this back up. Let's see if it's working. All right, cool. Because on my end, it's not, because I'm looking at it from my phone and it's been cut completely from my phone, from the feed of my cell phone. All right. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Let's get back to it. So, again, I implore you, inspect your loved one's body parts when you go down to that morgue. If you have a person in the family that's a doctor, that's familiar with the human body, right? Even if you have someone that works in forensic science or wherever that is an expert, take them with you, right? Take them with you and have that body inspected. If they don't allow you to do it down at their morgue, when the body's transferred to the funeral home, right? The funeral director can also inspect the body for you. Plain and simple. So they cut the feed from my cell phone. All right, forget that. But anyway, let's keep going. Check the have the funeral home check the body for the organs also, right? Because there are funeral directors, funeral homes that will do that for you if you ask them. And some of them can spot and tell you what's there and what's not there. Because usually sometimes they're supposed to also put the organs in a plastic bag and keep it and stuff it back within the body, right? And everything is supposed to be there in that bag also as well. So they're not going to tell me, and I haven't heard if this man, Arthur Rathburn, got any form of prison time, if he was locked up. I have not heard that come back from out of Chicago. And this organ harvesting ring that was being ran, that he's involved in, went all the way from New York, New Jersey, Phoenix, on Detroit, Chicago, right? Then, not to mention the organ harvesting ring that was in LA in 2014, and they just busted another one in 2018, right? Out in LA. Okay. So, and this is 2018, they just busted another one in Los Angeles. All right. So we're not going to sit here and act like, we don't know what's going on here. In mass chaos or confusion, a lot happens throughout while chaos is going on. Okay? So a person can't come tell you that this mass murder is going on here in this state right here, right? Mass murders is going on in the state of New York. Mass murders is going on in California. Mass murders is going on in Portland, right? But who's checking the bodies to see if the organs are there? Then if you start checking the bodies and see if how many of these organs are really being missing, then you got to start questioning who's really doing the killing, to why these people cannot catch a murderer that does a shooting in broad daylight in the public street, shooting 30 people, and no store cameras caught it. No one with a cell phone walked on and had it broadcasted on social media. None of that. None of that. In my opinion, these people are being kidnapped in the night. This much people kidnapped off the streets and having their organs taken from them, their body parts taken from them. Then also in this, which Alpha All Day mentioned about the head, they also found they also had heads in here. So the heads, pay attention, because you know what? I didn't pay attention to it the amount of times that I've watched this video, but now that it was mentioned, let's rewatch this and play it back out again, and then I'm gonna tell y'all what I think about the heads.
And first at 6, the investigation of a business deal that deals in human body parts shifting from Detroit to Chicago as the feds launch a new raid.
And once again, hundreds of families will be left wondering if the bodies of loved ones have been bought and sold on the black market.
7 Action News investigator Jim Kirchner is here tonight with a story you'll see only on 7. Jim?
Stephen and Carolyn, this case started here, according to sources, when a man named Arthur Rathburn was shipping human body parts through Metro Airport. Get this, the box leaked blood. Those cargo haulers then called for help. Why were you stockpiling hundreds of human body parts here, sir? That's Art Rathburn.
Wait. I missed something.
Carolyn, this case started here, according to sources, when a man named Arthur Rathburn was shipping human body parts through Metro Airport. Get this.
Wow. So if he was shipping it through the airport, that means it wasn't his first time doing it, right? That was not his first time doing it. That means it's something that he was doing on a regular basis through the airport. This is like 9/11. Who were the TSA workers in 9/11 that searched those guys that supposedly hijacked these planes and missed all those razor blades? No one caught on to any of those razor blades that those guys had when they went and hijacked these planes on 9/11. All that went through missing. So this man has been pushing through organs through the airport for how many years? Because he was doing this for years. He must have bit the hand that was feeding him, and they decided, it's time to turn him in. Right? For how many years they never noticed these body parts, but you going on the plane with your little bottle of lotion and stuff, or you coming back from the islands with a mango, they tell you, oh no, you can't, no, you can't do that. But he was moving body parts, not coke, not weed, not opium. He was moving body parts through the airport. Body parts. Thanks, Rainstorm. Honor. Right? I also missed that too. Out of all the times I was watching this. That is crazy. Through the airport. And this wasn't his first time, because he has a well-established warehouse with thousands of body parts. So it was not his first time doing it. So who does he know in the airport to have been getting these organs through the airport? Who? He had to have known someone high up, right? And if he wasn't flying these organs in publicly, he was flying them in privately through the airport, because it's a different treatment when you fly private. You don't have that much immigration issues when you're flying private also. Ding, ding, ding. Difference between public and private, people. Let's go.
This case started here, according to sources, when a man named Arthur Rathburn was shipping human body parts through Metro Airport. Get this, the box leaked blood. Those cargo haulers then called for help. Why were you stockpiling hundreds of human body parts here, sir? That's Art Rathburn. And remember his business 13 months ago? For 2 days, federal investigators dressed in hazmat suits removed body parts of 1,000 different people. Arms, legs, heads cut up and kept on ice, not embalmed, so they would be fresh for the black market. Today, the rundown warehouse on Detroit's east side is shuttered and up for sale. Sources say Rathburn's seized records led them to the Chicago area today, a business called Biological Resource Center in Rosemont. It's difficult to see from the outside, but sources say the hazmat suits and raid are underway. on the 6th floor of this office building. The same paper trail led investigators to Biological Resource Center in Phoenix last January, and another raid removing body parts and corpses. There were also ties to similar businesses in Las Vegas. Since these dealt directly with the public, families were left without answers. Julie donated her husband Steve's body and was promised his cremated remains back in a month.
Yeah, all right. That's on all, but again, so now they said at the head. They said even the heads, he even had heads. Why would you need a head? Why would you need a head in the organ harvesting thing? A couple reasons why they will need that head. He's selling it to the schools, to those medical schools, those colleges that deal with what they call it, cadavers. Colleges that uses cadavers to teach their medical students. So this is where they're getting their organs from also. Also, you got the occult community, right? That also believes in having a real life skull of a human being to harness its spiritual energy. Now, what some folks don't understand within that belief is they believe in even like with our ancestors. When they take the heads of our ancestors or they bury their dead on top of our ancestors' grave, it is spiritual suppression. If they have the head of our ancestor, they can control the soul of our ancestor to do their bidding. Okay? That's what that is. And it's not just our ancestor, but it's soul cooking, soul catching in general. Period. That's what that is. So this little 2-minute, 3-minute video clip gave away so much info that I couldn't believe that the couple of other times that I watched this, I missed all of that. Right? Now, there's an article that I want to pull up. It's just 2 articles. All right. So this says, this is from guestlist.net, right? And it says, return of the Black Heart Men, organ harvesting in Jamaica. Now, the reason why I pull up this article is because let's get to it first. Let's get to it first before we even do that. Let me see if I can get the video. I think this was it. Fair use.
Greetings, my people. Turbo next year. This is going to be the most important video I've ever done on my Facebook page because it contains classified, important information that people, not just in Jamaica, but mainly Jamaica, around the world, most people, some people are aware of it, some don't. It is called organ harvesting. Those of us who are living abroad may be a little bit more familiar. But for the Jamaican people, most of them will not know what it is. And because the culprits who are financing this heinous act against the Jamaican people know this, they made it seem like it is an abduction and rape.
Okay.
But
leave it right there. That's one of the parts that I wanted y'all to hear. They're making it seem like it's a form of kidnapping or rape or murder, right? That's what they're making it seem, because why? No one is checking these bodies, especially if you're in the islands. That if anyone understands some of these islands medical structure, how it's set up, the system is set up, they don't have the resources to go through those things. So it is perfect for those who run the organ harvesting business. They set up their funeral homes. Yeah, the organ harvesters, they have their own funeral homes also, right? And the people who are relatives or loved ones of the victims are not thinking, oh, let me go and have the body inspected, make sure that all the organs is there. They're not doing that. And then because the islands are so corrupt, they're going to charge them an arm and a leg to even do something like that. You see what I'm saying? Now, you got to understand that also within the islands, when killings are happening, it's not just that a person just get up and go boom, 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 we're going to kill somebody one day. No, they literally hold a meeting before they even do it. There's a meeting that is held before they even do it, right? A good portion of the time, majority of the time, your who you call your area leader or your area boss actually has a meeting with other supposed bosses from other communities before any form of violence is taken and mass killings or whatever is going down. Literally. That's a fact. Okay? So when these bodies are going into these morgues and the organs are gone, you can easily say, again, everything is connected. Your area boss is in cahoots with the politicians. The politicians is in cahoots with some of the police officers. The police officers are in cahoots with the mortuary, and so on and so on and so on. And they are in cahoots with the people who runs the ports. And the ports in the islands are ran by the Hindus, the Chinese, and the Spanish. Period. Okay? Let's get into this article. Oh, Lacey Rhodes said the missing child in the back of the milk box. Remember that? Oh, yeah. It was them the whole time. Stealing children, CPS, Amber Alert, Juvie detention, etc., etc. Yeah, and you know what? They're even being put on blast too. The juvenile halls are put on blast, especially the juvenile halls that they have in Brooklyn, in New York, for even abusing the children while they're in there, like abusing them, and even to the point where some of them are going missing. Can't find them on the streets, but they're just going missing. And these are the ones who are foster children, who grew up in a foster home, right? That the supposed system was taking care of. So there's no one there to report them missing, right? Because a lot of people out there that's in these systems just don't care. Or if they came into the job if they came into the work looking to do good, after a while they get such a fight that they just stop caring. See what I'm saying? So this is what it is. All right. I was trying to read. I'm looking on my phone. I was trying to read some of the comments, but every time I try, it's being deleted. All right. I'm not paying attention to my phone no more because it don't make no sense. Because the whole chat just got frozen. Comments are being deleted on my end, from what I'm seeing. Anyway, let's go into. Also, there was another incident that happened in Jamaica, and the police was telling the people that no organ harvesting is going on, even though people was finding bodies literally that's showing you that there was no organs in the bodies. And they was trying to tell them, nah, that's not going on. But it is going on. Okay, this is it right here. All right, so this is from decodedscience.org, organ harvesting, human trafficking, and the black market. When families or individuals are tired of spending years on a medical waiting list, they sometimes purchase body parts, kidneys, eyes, lungs, limbs, and more for transplant on the black market. Now, pay attention, because if they're going for an organ, a kidney, a lung, or whatever, it has to be fresh. So they're not cutting it out of no dead body that's been sitting there for 2 weeks or so on and so on and so. Like when I say it has to be fresh, literally has to come from the warm body, put into a container of ice, and then carried to where it's supposed to be going to. Okay? That fresh. That fresh. All right? Okay. When families or individuals are tired of spending years on a medical waiting list, they sometimes purchase body parts, kidneys, eyes, lungs, heart, limbs, and more for transplant on the black market. It sounds like science fiction, but organ harvesting is an unfortunate fact in the criminology world of today. Organ harvesting and human trafficking. Now, human trafficking and organ harvesting go side by side. But I'm not going to touch on the human trafficking today, which is the sex trafficking industry. We're going to do that probably a couple weeks from now, another time, right? We're going to do that. But I just wanted to focus more so on the organ harvesting part right now. Organ harvesting and human trafficking. Organ harvesting has been tied to human trafficking and has become a booming business in the 21st century on a global scale. It is a criminal offense to traffic body parts or perform transplants from any source not legally affiliated with a hospital or other medical facility. But legality doesn't deter either side of the transaction. Notably, quite a lot of illegally trafficked body parts are harvested by any means necessary and are gladly received. No questions asked by the person willing to pay top dollar for a kidney, a heart, or a hip. A hip. Illegal organs, supply, and demand. According to the American Transplant Foundation, 123,000 people in the United States are on the waiting list to receive an organ. Every 12 minutes, a new name is added to the list, and an average of 21 persons per day die due to a lack of organ availability. Corneas, kidneys, liver, lung, intestines, bone marrow are the most common transplant needs. Now, I implore folks with the resources within their states or anyone that can research the 123,000 who are in need of organs, what are their ethnicity? And the organs that they're receiving, from what ethnic group are they receiving these organs from? That's simple. Sounds simple, but just like that, in that order, right? And a lot of answers will reveal itself to you. Instead of going out speculating and guessing, right? We go out there and we do that research. What's going on here? Me 1 second, family. See what's going on here. Okay, we're back. I'm back. My feed was cut. All right. So let me just do something real quick. You know, it's a sick world that we live in, to where when you're speaking on certain topics, that they do any and everything they can to stop it from getting out there, or from folks actually paying attention to the topic, right? Such as something like this, as organ harvesting. Because if you're offending someone talking about organ harvesting in the manner of how you're talking about it, then something must be wrong here, right? You're doing something right that these folks don't like. Plain and simple. You know? All right, I'm trying to fix my internet. Okay. Here we go. So yeah, in that order, 123,000 people needs organs. Research the ethnic group, the ethnicity of these 123,000, and the ethnicity of the organs that they are receiving. From where are they coming from? Research that. From what facility? What facility is doing the surgery for these transplants? Right? Now they say that every 12 minutes a new name is added to the list, and an average of 21 persons per day die due to a lack of organ availability. So if 123,000 people in the United States, but every 12 minutes, on top of this 123, a new name is added to the list, right? A new name is added to the list. A new name every 12 minutes. Every 12. Look, there's no way in hell this is natural. For every 12 minutes, a new name to be added to that list. Right? Let's keep going. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services data of organ procurement and transplantation network reports 121,333 currently awaiting organ transplant, of which 100,402 are waiting for a kidney. Only 30,970 plants actually took place legally in 2015, right? According to the World Health Organization, America is one of many organ importing countries, and by the use of the web, patients can get transplant packages from $70 to over $160,000 for organ package. You hear that? $160,000. Let me check to see if the connection is on. See if you guys are still here. All right. Let's see. Give me 1 second, y'all. If you guys are still hearing me, just press 1 if you guys are still hearing me. Okay. And if you guys can see the screen share, just press 1 if you guys can also see the screen share. All right. Cool. Now, let's close this out. Close this out too. So, this is crazy. $160,000 is selling organ packages for. $160,000 for a package. For a package. Patients can get transplant packages from $70 to over $160,000. Right? USA Today conducted an investigative report in 2006 and found that illegal body harvesting is very lucrative in the US due to the high demand of body parts. The investigation revealed that from 1987 to 2006, 19 years, over 16,800 families had pursued lawsuits stating that their loved ones' body parts were illegally sold for an estimated $6 million. That amount is based on figures obtained from federal and local investigators, public organizations, and medical universities. You know, they doctor those numbers. It's way more than that. Where do the organs come from? Where do the organs come from? Like again, I said, like I'm saying again, check, research the ethnicity of the people who are receiving these organs, the ethnicity of the people whose organs are being transplanted into these people. Right? Check to research those things. Okay. Where do the organs come from? Willing donors. In some cases, an ABC Chicago investigative reporter found that people even boldly advertised their kidneys for sale on Craigslist. The investigation revealed that hundreds of people in Illinois, back to Chicago again, were willing to sell their kidney for a few $1,000s. After discovering a Chicago area man who was offered $30,000 for his kidney and received several hits in 1 month. They went on the cover posing as a person willing to sell a kidney and exchange emails from organ brokers as well as doctors who were willing to perform the transplant for a fee, as well as doctors. They telling you who's doing this stuff and who knows your your genetics more than your doctor. Who knows what blood type you are? Who knows if your organs is healthy or bad? Your doctor. Your doctor. Huh? And and again, this is in that now they're saying this is in Illinois. That's Chicago, Illinois. So again, miss me with all this. Over 4,000 or 5,000 people died of gun violence because of the gangs. The gangs is not. If that was an issue, if that was so solidly true, that over 4,000 or 5,000 people a year, or even before the year is up, is being murdered by gang members and gang violence, the feds would have been flooded in there with the marshals. They would have been flooded in there with the National Guard. They're not doing that. Because you're not slaughtering each other like that. I'm not saying that you're not doing things to each other, but not in those high numbers of how they're saying. Now, if an organ harvesting package is $160,000, just one package, that's a lucrative business. But only deep-pocketed people could run who are in high positions. Plain and simple. Anyway, Unfortunately, many people became victims of the illegal organ trafficking industry as well. Organ trafficking laws and offenders. Excuse me. Organ trafficking is a form of human trafficking and is an organized crime. According to the UN Gift Hub, organ trafficking falls into three categories: traffickers who trick the victim into giving up an organ for no cost, con artists who can convince victims to sell their organs. Wow, really? But who do not pay, or who pay less than they agreed to pay, and doctors who treat people for ailments which may or may not exist, and remove the organs without the victim's knowledge, or doctors who tell you that there's something wrong with your organ when damn well know that there's nothing wrong with it, so that they could cut it up out of you. Right? Organic people start going back eating organic. The organ trafficking trade involves a host of offenders. As the UN Gift noted, there is a recruiter who seeks out the donor. There is a transporter of the organs. There are staff of the hospital or clinic that receives the organs. And of course, the medical practitioners who perform the transplants. What I told you. There are also middlemen, contractors, buyers, and the banks that store the organs and or tissues. Decoded Science interviewed a former transplant clinical researcher for a major hospital who spoke with us on the condition of anonymity. He stated he had encountered cases where people brought their organs from people willing to sell. He shared an experience of an elite Saudi Arabian who arrived at the hospital for a kidney transplant, accompanied by a young man who claimed was his brother. Pay attention. Testing showed no genetic match. The researcher later found out that the Saudi elite had paid the young man $50,000 in US money for his kidney. Our source also noted that even though there is a waiting list for organs, favoritism does occur and money can get someone moved up the list fairly quick. Now, I had a friend that his cousin needed a kidney one time, and they went to go donate to see if their kidney was a match with his cousin, and he told me that the doctors told him that he can't donate, his family members can't donate their kidneys to other family members. That's what they told him. And I didn't believe him at first until I literally had to hear the shit for myself. You have some doctors out there. This was a while back though. This was probably like 6-7 years ago. That was actually telling people that they couldn't do that, right? Family members that they couldn't do that, and then they drop your family member on a waiting list for an organ. And if you're not a prominent family member who could pay for it or procure it in ways how how they know their money can stretch for them to get it, then that's it for your family member, right? This is crazy. 50,000 money for his kidney. Our source also noted that even though there is a waiting list for organs, favoritism does occur. and money can get someone moved up the list fairly quickly. Ann Cheney, author of Body Brokers, Inside America's Underground Trade in Human Remains, stated, "Today we aren't robbing graves, but we are violating corpses. We are failing to carry out donor wishes, and we are putting patients at risk. All because we have been disturbingly complacent about what happens to people's bodies when they die." According to NBC New York, Levi Rosenbaum, known as the kidney broker, was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison and was the first proven case of organ trafficking. His incident came from an FBI sit-in operation from the black market sale of 3 kidneys for a total of $410,000. Rosenbaum recruited poor Israeli donors who sold him their kidney for $10,000. They're talking about Palestinians, right? Because they're talking about Palestinians. That's where the majority of the poor is. Palestine, because of how they're consistently bombing them. Okay? Rosenbaum recruited poor Israeli donors who sold him their kidneys for $10,000 and resold the organ to Americans for over $120,000 each. He told undercover FBI agents that he arranged for a lot of transplants and sold them to the Albert Einstein Medical Center and Hospital, where he acted as a facilitator for donor matches for Israeli patients from 1999 to 2000. Wow. Killing to give life. In addition to con artists and unscrupulous doctors, there are also extreme cases in which people are outright murdered for their organs. Every year, there are suspicious deaths in which the victim had their organs removed. Again, who's checking these organs? Who's checking the bodies of these organs? Who's doing these things? Who's checking your loved ones? Making sure that your loved ones aren't being violated. Right? Who's doing that? You guys have to go out there and make sure that your loved ones are coming home or being buried with all their organs. They're being buried whole. As they came, so they shall go whole. No parts of them is missing, so that they can rest in peace, right? So that their soul won't feel incomplete, so that they won't be tormented, right? Do you have the VP or plan? Oh, no, Q. I don't have that one, but I might could pull it up. But I'm going to do another part to this. When I do the other part to this, I could pull it. I'll see if I could. I'm gonna see if I can find it, and then pull it up, right? And pull it up. So yeah. What? Who blocked you? Oh, time for. I agree. So now you have to look and see. Oh, that's it, Q. All right, hold on. Let me. All right, let me do that. Let's close this out. Let's do this. Pull it back here. All right, so that won't get lost. All right, pull it back here. Here's that. All right, so we're gonna play the Planned Parenthood one. Fair use, fair use. This is from the Center of Medical Progress.
Really clear. The allegation. Hello, I'm Cecile Richards, president of Planned Parenthood Federation of America. I want to be really clear. The allegation that Planned Parenthood profits in any way from tissue donation is not true.
Some fluff in the beginning. All right.
What would you expect for intact tissue? What sort of compensation? What sort of...
Well, why don't you start by telling me what you used to pay it?
We'll be exhibiting at the medical directors council meeting in a couple of weeks, so I don't know if you'll be attending.
I'm now the president of that organization.
Oh.
So we had just started the conversation. Susan was a Planned Parenthood startup that they have been about a year in business. They're a for-profit company that's connecting researchers with people willing to donate tissue. Our volume, thank you for giving it to me, is 800 a year with 60 in the second trimester. And we just started talking about how the process worked with Novogenics down in Los Angeles when I was there. Okay, to back up a little bit, PPFA, our parent body, is on board with tissue donation, but we have to ask for a waiver to do it, and we have to lay out for them what our program's going to be like. And the mechanics of it was that Heather, Novogenics person, would come to the site, and our staff would sign the patients up and get consent, and then Heather would look at the tissue and take what she required. So it was logistically very easy for us. We didn't have to do anything. So it was compensation for this, and we didn't have to do anything. So it was compensation for this, and there was a discussion as I was leaving. They had been paying by the case, and there was some discussion about doing it in a different way, or I don't know what you're used to doing, how are you used to doing compensation? Patients don't get anything, of course.
Okay, so I'd like, what would you expect for intact tissue? What sort of compensation? What sort of...
Well, why don't you start by telling me what you're used to paying?
You know why they also using the word tissue? It's for legal reasons also, right? Because tissue could mean, piece of the skin, right? Or it can mean an organ. It can mean anything dealing with the human body or the fetus itself, right? The developed fetus. That's why they're saying tissue. Okay, she's not gonna come out right and say, well, the organ, because again, speaking about selling an organ in a public environment like that with a client buying an organ, selling an organ, and someone wanting to buy an organ from you, it's illegal, right? So she's trying to be very careful with her words. And again, the reason I tell you guys to do the research on the ethnic groups that are receiving organs and the ethnic groups that these organs are coming from, right? This goes hand in hand with Planned Parenthood, because in what communities are majority of the Planned Parenthoods put up at? In what they call the Negro community. Now you go back to the first video that I shared, right, of what's going on out there in the Middle East. And they're saying that the darker skinned peoples, it's easy to get them a passport and so on and so on, so on, this and that. Well, they're being displaced. They're being displaced from their homeland, because if they're selling their organs just to get away from there because of how bad the wars are, they're being displaced. while being displaced, they're also being robbed of their organs. Right? Gentrification by the way of organ harvesting. Just saying. Urban renewal by the way of organ harvesting. Just saying.
Okay. I don't think so. I would like to know what would make you happy. What would work for you?
Well, you know, in negotiations, the person who throws out the figure first is at a loss, right? So.
No, I don't look at it that way. I know you want to play that game. I get it, but I want
low ball because I'm used to low things from.
You know what? If you low ball, I'll act pleasantly surprised, and you'll know it's a low ball.
Okay.
What I want to know is what would work for you. Don't low ball it.
Okay.
Tell me what you really.
$75 a specimen.
Oh, that's way too low. Really, that's way too low. I want to keep you happy.
I've been in places that did 50 too. But see, we're not in it for the money. Or one you start by telling me what you're used to paying.
No, I want.
They're not in it for the money, but she was just telling her $75 a specimen. So the baby which you are going to go kill, right, from out of your womb, they're taking it. They're taking the tissue. They're taking that dead corpse, right, and they're selling it back to other folks on the black market. Why? Because there are components within that fetus that these people are going to use to pump back within their body so that they can make their cells fertile so that they can have children. Okay? And their babies is going to come out with some of your genetics. Right? But that's something else to get into for another time also as well. Because that is very important to the environment and the earth today. To why some people could survive in certain climates and some people just can't. And what they will need to survive in your climate to stay up underneath you where you are. Okay? Not all, some, but not all. All right? Plain and simple. Let's keep going.
Overall, $75 a specimen. And we don't want to be in the position of being accused of selling tissue and stuff like that. On the other hand, there are costs associated with the use of our space and all that kind of stuff. So what are you thinking about?
Right. So way higher than that. So I'd like to start at around 100.
Okay. Now this is for tissue that you actually take, not just the tissue that person volunteered, but you can't find anything.
Exactly.
Now this is for tissue that you actually take, not just the tissue that person volunteered, but you can't find anything.
Exactly. Right. What we can use, what is intact. So that's why I'm saying no, don't lowball. I want you to be happy.
It's complicated by the fact that our volume is so low too. I mean, are you looking at 8 and 9 week specimens or only 7 trimester specimens?
10 to 12 week, end of the first trimester. If those are pretty intact specimens, then that's something we can work with.
So that's an interesting concept. Let me explain to you a little bit of a problem. It may not be a big problem. If our usual technique is suction at 10 to 12 weeks, and we switch to using an iPass or something with less suction in order to increase the odds that would come out as an intact specimen, then we're kind of violating the protocol that says to the patient, we're not doing anything different in our care of you. And to me, that's a kind of a specious little argument, and I wouldn't object to asking Ian, who's our surgeon who does the cases, to use an iPass at that gestation age in order to increase the odds that he was going to get an intact specimen. But I do need to throw it out there as a concern because the patient is signing something and we're signing something saying we're not changing anything in the way we're managing you just because you agreed to give tissue. I've heard of that before.
Right. Yeah. No. It's definitely.
It's touchy. Yeah. Okay. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think they're both totally appropriate techniques. There's no pain involved. I don't think the patients would care one iota. So I'm not really fussed about that.
Okay.
Now you have my email address, right?
Your email, yeah.
Write me a 3 or 4 paragraph proposal, which I will then take to Laurel and others in our organization to see if we want to pursue this. And then if we want to pursue this mutually, I'll mention this to the end in terms of how we could.
Also, what you got to understand is this. The reason why they also go for the fetus, because the melanin is at its most potent within the fetus, right? Now, I showed you the videos of the weightlifters that take melanin shots. It darkens them up, but they say it not only does it darken them up, but it increases their sexual stamina and it gives them growth down. You know what I mean? It make their man part bigger, right? So when they were looking like the Roman statues with the little teeny weeny, when they did the melanin shots, it made them bigger. Okay. Now, so when y'all going to abort your babies, these people are profiting off of it, and it's making them survive in environments that they're not naturally supposed to even be in for too long. All right. This goes back to the chemtrails. This go back to all these things. Okay. So when we're speaking of organ harvesting, who are the most harvested people in the world? Who? Who are the people? Who are the majority of the people on the organ harvest, on the organ list, seeking an organ? Who? Huh? And who are the ones that they're getting organs from? These are questions that should be asked. These are questions that should be researched. Right? Now, if the death rate amongst especially what they call black people, Negro people, have been increasing for certain diabetes and cancer, these type of diseases, why is that happening? What is in your water? What is being sprayed in your skies? Who have forced themselves on your islands, your parts, your neighborhoods, your communities, and started changing around the structure of your ecosystem? Who? If you live in a tri-state area, matter of fact, wherever in the world you live in, and you notice that there's a big difference in your water, even in the taste quality of it, I suggest that you boil your water. Boil it. Well, boil it. Fill the pot all the way to the top, boil it, and let it water dry down to like halfway. And leave it. Leave it for a few hours, then pour that water out into a container. Do not wash out the pot. Use like a nonstick pot that has the black nonstick coating inside of it, or you can use like a stainless steel pot. And you let the residue of the water that's left back dry out naturally in the pot. Then a day or two later, go in there and you wipe your hand around the pot in that pot, and it's going to come out caking with white powder. It's going to come out caking with white powder. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it one day, and I'm going to post it and show you guys. It's going to come out caking with white powder. That's what you call hard water. Now, what does hard water do? Soft water is what you need for your body. Okay? Soft water is what has more oxygen in the water, right? More electrolytes in the water. That's what is in soft water. Soft water is more healthy for your body. It's easier for your body to break down. Hard water is what they're now doing to the water supply, because now when you go, you ever used to go back in the day in the early 90s and you have your laundry soap and a cork will literally do for like the entire load, right? And you'll see the machine set up. The washing machine used to set up all the way up, All that foam used to be in the machine. And now today you can put 3-4 corks and it won't even sud. That's hard water that's stopping it from doing that. Right? So you use more dishwashing liquid, more laundry soap, and then it's no suds because you think all people, if it don't sud, it ain't washing. Right? So you go and you got to buy more laundry soap, more and more and more, and more than how you used to shop and buy it. Right? Hard water. Hard water. When you go into the pipe and you go drink that pipe water, that's hard water. It's not good for you. And what that does, it dries you out. It dries out your organs. It dries out your inside. It makes you more thirsty than the norm, and you're going back and you're drinking more. But that's that does for the filtering system. Now that's damaging your organs. That's making you sick. It causes brain damage. It increases your chances in having cancer. It causes cancer. Right? So many things that you as a pregnant woman then will be passing down to your child through that dirty water. Now, a couple years back, they said the Indian power plant was leaking from upstate New York, leaking throughout the tri-state area of what they call trillium. I think it's called trillium. I forgot. I think it's called trillium, right? And they said that it's an odorless chemical that you can't detect. It has no smell to it, right? And it's in the water supply. And it's gotten into your drinking water supply. But you know what? When you boil that water, when you pour out that water, when you get that water from the pipe and you got it poured out, and got it in there in the pot, it's nothing. You don't see nothing in there, right? You see some chlorine, you give it a minute, the chlorine or whatever will disappear, right? It's clear. But go boil that water. And that's when you see that trillium, or I think it's called trillium. That's when you see that trillium, the powder shows itself. That hidden chemical that they snuck in your water supply. Okay? Pay attention. He who only a slave give control of their natural resources to somebody else. Only a slave. And only a slave will not try to get out of that situation to where they can control back their own resource, or think of ways not to depend on someone else to provide certain sources, certain means of survival to them, for them. Okay? Gotta start learning how to filter your water. You gotta start learning how to make your own filters. How to make your own filters, and how to even get it made at a wholesale price for cheap to where you can stockpile them shits. Right? But this is what it is. Honor, Mr. Tyrese. Honor. So this is crazy. All right, so we have one more thing that I wanted to go through, and then I'm going to wrap it up. There's something that I spotted here on this wiki article, right? And if you guys are seeing this, these are all the references to this article, right? This is like a couple pages of references to this article. This is why, folks, when you're using Wikipedia for research, make sure that it has an extensive reference list. This is how you can tell if the article is official or not. And then you can go do your own research through the references and see for yourself, right? But there was something that I spotted in this. I think this is it. Black market kidneys, $160,000 a pop. right? And this is from what? Martinez Edesio, July 27, 2009. Black market kidneys, this is 2009 now. That's what it was valued at, 2009. Black market kidneys, 160,000 a pop. This on CBS. Organ trafficking and transplantation pose new challenges. Who retrieved? Who retrieved? And this is November 2015 also for this. Okay. And this is the article. This is the wiki article. I'm going to put the link. Matter of fact, let me copy it from now. I'm going to put the link to the article in the description box. All right. So I copied and pasted it. So before this video uploads fully, I'm going to put the link to in the description box. Right. So this is Iran is the only nation that allows organs to be bought and sold for money. Due to lack of infrastructure to maintain an efficient organ transplant system, in the early 80s, Iran passed legalized living non-related donation of kidneys in 1988. The Charity Association for the Support of Kidney Patients and the Charity Foundation for Special Diseases, CFSD, control the trade of organs. With the support of the government, the nonprofit organizations match donors to recipients, setting up tests to ensure compatibility. Donors receive tax credit compensation from the government. Right? It's crazy. You got Australia, America, Singapore. I'm going to put this link up in there for you guys. I did have another link, but I had accidentally closed it out before I started live, where it shows you that in Mexico right now they make $1.6 billion a year, right, off of organ harvesting. That's just in Mexico alone, right now. Yearly, it used to be yearly they were making 40 to 60 million. They're making now 1.6 billion. Okay, that's just Mexico alone. We're not getting into Costa Rica, forgot what it's, Brazil. We ain't getting into these other places. That's just Mexico alone. Mexico right there, boom, right there at the border. California, Mexico, Los Angeles, San Francisco, New Mexico, San Antonio, boom, boom, boom. Right? And then, these organs, in order to get these organs over into Mexico, they have to go through Indian country also as well. Let's not put that connection in there too also as well. Now, they have to go through Native American country also as well, not Indian country, because we already know. They have to go through Native American country also as well. And they too have a high rate of sex trafficking that's going on in their reservations. And where there's sex trafficking, there's organ harvesting. All right. But yeah, so I'm going to put the link to this description box. Check out the Black Sunrise on YouTube and Brother Kawaku from Jamaica. All right. I'll check that out. But yeah, so I'm going to put the link to this within the description box. All right, to this article. Matter of fact, I'm just going to put the link to all the articles within the description box. All right, when we all finish and just wrap this up. Let me go back to the main page. All right, one sec. Let me make sure that this is on. Loading up. All right, here we go. So yeah, like people. The other day I was in the mall with a friend of mine's, right? And this lady was with her young girl, and that lady turned her back. And the little girl was there, and me and my friend, we were sitting down having a bite, and the little girl disappeared. We turned our heads for a few seconds, and the little girl disappeared. Mother turned around, father turned around, don't see the little girl. None of us did. She reached all the way down, damn near on the other side of where the mother was at. Right? Close towards the exit of the mall. Now that reminded me when I was at the pharmacy one time, and there was a lady with her daughter, and her daughter kept crying or whatever. But she was standing on line at the pharmacy. I'm right behind her. The little girl is right there next to the mother. Boom. I turned for a few seconds to go on my phone, turned back, that little girl disappeared. The mother turns around. She don't see her daughter. People, I'm telling you, stay focused. Keep your eyes on your children. Know where they are at all times. Keep them close to you if you're walking with them on the street. Don't be like some people that I see and you're 15 feet ahead of your child. Then turning around to about hurry up. In less than 10 seconds, that little girl disappeared at the pharmacy. Her mother found her, but it happens that quick, right? Matter of fact, what's there? It happens that quick. That quick. All right, so I'm going to put the link to the articles within the description box. I'm also going to put the link to my Teespring store within the description box. And, check out the articles, check out the store. And I say peace, love, light to you all. Don't forget to make sure that you double click the subscribe button to this channel right here, to Dartman X TV. If you know anyone that's still subscribed to also the other platform, tell them to come over to this platform right here, because this is where we're going to be doing the live streams at from now on. And this is what we're doing. All right. So, yeah. With that being said, peace and love to you all. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Hope the weekend coming up is going to be great and wonderful for you all. Best of wishes, health to you, your loved ones, your neighbors, your friends, all of that good stuff. All right. Peace and love to you all.